Hey everyone, it's Lucas here, and welcome back to Immigration News with Lucas. Now listen carefully.
If you're living and working in the United States on a temporary visa or while your green card case is pending, you already know how stressful it can be to wait for that little card called the Employment Authorization Document, your work permit. For years, one rule has offered a lifeline to millions: the automatic extension. It's what allowed people to keep their jobs legally while the government processed their renewals, sometimes for months or even longer. But now, headlines and immigration forums are buzzing again with talk of possible changes to how these extensions work. Officials at USCIS and the Department of Homeland Security are reportedly reviewing the system, and experts say new timelines, tighter rules, or updated eligibility criteria could arrive soon. So what exactly could change? Who's at risk of delays? And most importantly, how can you protect your job and legal status if you rely on an EAD? Today we're breaking it all down: what automatic extensions actually are, why they exist, the reasons behind potential reforms, and what you can do right now to stay prepared. Whether you're on an H-4, L-2, asylum, or adjustment of status application, this update matters to you. So grab a coffee, hit that like button to support clear immigration updates, and let's unpack what's happening with U.S. work permit extensions and what immigrants need to know before the rules change again. Every day, thousands of foreign workers in the United States wake up with one thing on their mind: the small card that allows them to work legally, their Employment Authorization Document, or EAD. It's that single piece of plastic that stands between financial stability and uncertainty. For many, it's their connection to a better life, a steady job, and a chance to build something meaningful for their families. But recently, growing concerns and confusion have started spreading online and across immigrant communities about possible changes to the automatic extension system, and it's no surprise that people are anxious. The work permit, after all, isn't just a document, it's the lifeline of millions of people in the country who have made America their temporary or even permanent home. So what's really going on? To understand the tension, you have to go back to why automatic extensions exist in the first place. Over the years, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services (USCIS) has struggled with enormous backlogs in processing work permits. Imagine being one of the thousands of immigrants whose card is about to expire, and even though you've submitted your renewal months earlier, the new one hasn't arrived yet. That's not just inconvenient, it could cost you your job, your income, even your ability to prove that you're allowed to stay in the country legally. That's why the automatic extension rule was introduced. It was a way to buy time to make sure that while USCIS worked through those delays, workers didn't lose their right to work. Initially, the automatic extension gave workers 180 extra days of work authorization while their renewal was pending. Later, as delays worsened, that window was extended to 540 days, almost a year and a half. It made a massive difference, especially for asylum seekers, green card applicants, and dependents of H-1B or L-1 visa holders whose entire employment status depended on having a valid EAD. But now, with growing talk about changes and the government's push to streamline processing, many immigrants fear the safety net could shrink or disappear altogether. This worry didn't come out of nowhere. In recent months, USCIS and other agencies have been emphasizing the importance of returning to normal processing times. Officials have said that temporary measures put in place during the pandemic era were never meant to be permanent. The automatic extension policy is one of those temporary lifelines that helped immigrants survive through long wait times and bureaucratic slowdowns. Now, as the U.S. moves toward stricter enforcement and updated work authorization systems, people are wondering, will that extension still be available next year? And if not, what does that mean for those who depend on it? Let's think about what the end of automatic extensions could look like in real life. Imagine you're an L-2 spouse, your partner is on an L-1 visa working for a multinational company in the US, and you've built a small business or maybe found a part-time job to help with expenses. Your EAD expires in 2 months, and you've already submitted your renewal. But because of the backlog, it's stuck in processing. Without the automatic extension, you'd be forced to stop working the day your card expires, even though you did everything right. That's not just a paperwork issue, that's someone's paycheck disappearing, someone's job put on hold, someone's financial stability thrown into chaos. Employers are equally nervous. Across tech companies, hospitals, and service industries, HR departments rely on the assumption that foreign workers with pending renewals can legally continue working. If that assumption is taken away, businesses could lose valuable employees overnight. It could mean training new staff, facing project delays, or even violating employment laws without realizing it. The system isn't just a headache for immigrants, it's a nightmare for employers trying to follow complex immigration rules while keeping their companies running smoothly. Immigration attorneys are watching closely too. Many are advising their clients to prepare for the worst-case scenario, to file renewals as early as possible, to track their case status weekly, and to keep physical proof of submission. Lawyers often emphasize that even if automatic extensions remain for now, they could change in length or conditions. That uncertainty alone creates fear. No one wants to gamble with their ability to work, especially after waiting months or even years to build a stable life. The truth is, the immigration system in the U.S. has always been slow to adapt to real-time needs. USCIS processing times ballooned over the past few years due to staffing shortages, policy shifts, and a flood of new applications from people seeking work permits through asylum, family-based petitions, and humanitarian programs. To deal with that, automatic extensions became a practical fix but not a permanent one. Officials argue that as backlogs decrease, the need for such temporary extensions should fade. However, many advocates say that's overly optimistic. Even with new digital systems and increased funding, processing times are still inconsistent across different categories. Some EAD renewals take just 2 months, while others stretch past 9. For immigrants, these numbers aren't statistics, they're sleepless nights. They're parents wondering if they'll still be able to pay rent next month. They're professionals in tech, healthcare, and retail who've built reputations and careers, suddenly facing the possibility of being sidelined because of a paperwork delay. The anxiety is real and widespread. In community centers, immigration nonprofits, and online forums, the discussion is everywhere. People are sharing screenshots of their case statuses, asking each other if they've received new cards, and posting updates about local USCIS offices. There's a collective nervousness that something big is changing even if the official policy hasn't yet shifted. Social media only amplifies that uncertainty, with rumors spreading faster than facts. Some posts claim automatic extensions are already being canceled, others insist they'll remain forever. The truth lies somewhere in between, and that's where confusion breeds fear. The government's messaging hasn't helped much either. USCIS statements often use technical language, full of terms like interim final rule and processing efficiencies. For the average worker, those phrases mean little. What people want is clear reassurance, a simple yes, your right to work is safe, or no, you'll need to plan ahead for changes. Without that clarity, speculation takes over, and every small update feels like an earthquake. But there's another layer to this issue: politics. Immigration policy is one of the most debated topics in America, and work permits sit at the heart of that discussion. Some policymakers believe automatic extensions encourage dependency on temporary visas, while others see them as essential humanitarian safeguards. Depending on who's in office or which agencies get more control, these rules can shift dramatically. A regulation that feels permanent today can be rewritten tomorrow, and that's part of what keeps immigrant communities constantly on edge. For now, experts say the best strategy is preparation. Those whose work permits expire within the next 180 days should file renewals immediately. Keep copies of every submission, every receipt, and every notice. It's also smart to inform employers early, so they're aware of possible gaps in authorization. Some workers might qualify for alternative categories or expedited processing, especially in healthcare or national interest fields. Others might explore switching to visa types that don't rely on separate work permits. It's complicated, yes, but in the U.S. immigration system, planning ahead is everything. The reality is that automatic extensions were never meant to last forever. They were introduced as a relief valve, a temporary patch to a system that couldn't keep up. But in the process, they became a pillar of stability for millions. Removing or reducing them, even slightly, would ripple through every level of society, from small business owners to major corporations, from immigrants starting fresh to families who've lived in the U.S. for years. Still, amid all the confusion, there's a sense of resilience. Immigrant communities have faced uncertainty before. They've adapted through policy shifts, visa suspensions, and even global pandemics. For many, this latest wave of anxiety feels like yet another test, one that will pass, even if it leaves scars of stress behind. Advocates are pushing for transparency. Organizations like the American Immigration Lawyers Association and immigrant rights groups are urging USCIS to communicate clearly before making any adjustments. They argue that if the agency truly wants to restore trust, it must give people time to prepare and respond. Abrupt policy shifts without warning can devastate lives, especially when those lives are already shaped by years of waiting and hoping. In the end, this story isn't just about bureaucracy. It's about human beings who've built their identities around contributing to the U.S. economy. They're nurses in hospitals, engineers in tech firms, teachers, caregivers, and delivery drivers, all united by one fragile document. Whether or not automatic extensions continue, the bigger question remains: will the U.S. ever fix its immigration processing system for good? Or will every improvement simply lead to another wave of uncertainty a few years later? For now, all immigrants can do is stay informed, stay organized, and keep faith in the process. The anxiety is understandable, but panic helps no one. Knowledge and preparation are the best defenses. If changes come, they'll come with notice, and those who act early will be the ones least affected. So, if your EAD is up for renewal soon, don't wait for rumors or panic headlines. File early, keep records, and stay alert for official USCIS updates. And to everyone out there feeling anxious right now, remember this: the system may be complex, but you're not powerless. Millions before you have faced uncertainty and found their way through. Keep your paperwork ready, keep your timeline tight, and keep your confidence strong. Because in the U.S. immigration journey, persistence often matters as much as policy. So while social media might make it sound like everything is collapsing overnight, the truth is more nuanced. Automatic extensions are still in place, but discussions about reform are very real. Whether that means shorter extension periods, stricter eligibility, or a gradual phase-out depends on how quickly USCIS can truly eliminate backlogs. Until then, workers across the country will keep refreshing their case status pages, hoping to see the word approved appear before their current card expires. If you're watching this from somewhere in the US and wondering how this affects you, take this as your reminder: don't delay. Start early, double-check your dates, and consult an immigration professional if you're unsure about your category. It's better to spend an afternoon filing paperwork now than months worrying later. And that's where this issue leaves us, at the intersection of policy, patience, and perseverance. Immigrants make up a vital part of the American workforce. Every change, every delay, every rule tweak affects real lives. Whether automatic extensions stay, change, or vanish, the story isn't over. It's evolving, and millions of people are living it, one renewal at a time. So, stay tuned, stay calm, and stay informed. The more you know, the more control you have. And as always, if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who might be affected, and subscribe for more clear, reliable updates about immigration, work permits, and the policies that shape your future in the US, because knowledge, at the end of the day, is your most powerful visa.